Most people think the magic ends once the full moon fades. That after the lunar climax, the energy softens, the tides recede, and life resumes its predictable pace. But the truth is, this is where it deepens. The days after the full moon don't close the story, they lower the veil. You're not standing at the end of something, you're descending into it. The second half of April doesn't announce itself with thunder. It hums quietly, beneath the surface. And if you're sensitive to energy, you've already felt the shift. A quiet pull. A sudden stillness. A strange rearranging within. These are not casual days. They are alignment days. Not about being perfect. Not about knowing what's next. Just about being honest with what is. This is the space between fire and earth. The place between letting go and becoming. What was once symbolic now begins to seek form. And that shift, subtle as it is sacred. You won't find the answers in loud declarations. You'll find them in what stirs when you're alone. In what surfaces when the world goes quiet. This isn't the end of April. It's the descent. The moment when the veil thins and the soil opens. The moonlight has done its revealing. Now, the ground calls for your roots. If something in you already feels like it's shifting, drop a word in the comments. Not to explain it, just to witness it. And if you're walking this path cycle by cycle, subscribe. You weren't meant to sleep through this part. April 15th to 18th, the stillness after illumination. The pink full moon of April 12th has passed, but its presence lingers, not as light in the sky, but as a frequency still moving through your field. You may think the peak has come and gone, but in truth, this is where the deeper work begins. The moon is now in its waning gibbous phase, and the energy is no longer about revelation, it's about remembrance. It's no longer about what is shown, but what is absorbed. This is the sacred stillness after the storm of illumination. The flash of awareness has already landed, and now the question becomes, what will you do with what was revealed? The sky is quiet during this window for a reason. There are no major planetary transits from April 15th to 18th. It's not a cosmic lull, it's a spiritual invitation. The universe has gone still so that you can hear the quiet echo of your own soul without interference. And in that silence, you may feel strange. Slightly detached from your surroundings, as if your emotional body has softened and opened, yet you can't quite name what you're carrying. There may be no clear thoughts, no obvious guidance, just the sense that something is forming deep within you, something you're not yet ready to speak out loud. You're not alone in this. You're not behind. You're in integration. And integration looks nothing like inspiration. It's slower, quieter, messier. It asks for patience, not performance. This is the time to stop reaching for external signs and start listening to the subtle shifts inside your body. That odd dream you had. That mood you couldn't explain. That heaviness that suddenly lifted for no reason. These are signs of the shift. You're not imagining it. You're embodying it. But embodiment is not instantaneous. It takes time for the energy of revelation to become part of your nervous system, your choices, your daily rhythm. What was once an insight must now become a way of living. And that doesn't happen by rushing into action, it happens by allowing yourself to settle into the unfamiliar. Let the emotions rise and fall without trying to interpret them. Let the silence stay without trying to fill it. Even Jesus often withdrew after moments of profound revelation, not to escape, but to integrate the divine downloads he received. You are being called to do the same. Don't force clarity. Don't rush meaning. Let the energy of the full moon root itself into your bones. Your body knows how to carry truth better than your mind knows how to explain it. You're not being asked to understand, you're being asked to trust. These days may feel uneventful on the surface, but below, there is sacred construction taking place. Something real is being built in you. Let it happen without forcing a blueprint. So if everything feels quiet, let it. If your emotions feel soft but directionless, honor that. The universe isn't being vague, it's being intimate. You're not drifting. You're deepening. This is what spiritual integration looks like. And it's holy. April 20th, Sun enters Taurus, from initiation to embodiment. The fire of Aries season begins to dim. Its wild momentum, its bold beginnings, its courageous ignition, all of it now softens as the Sun steps gently into Taurus. What was set in motion is now asked to take root. The burst of initiation must now become embodied. This is the turning point where energy moves from starting into sustaining. From passion into presence. From spark into soil. Taurus energy isn't here to rush you. It's here to stabilize you. To bring you home, not just to a place, but to your own body, your own rhythm, your own knowing. While Aries burned brightly with courage and desire, Taurus asks a different question: can you stay with what you started? Can you find pleasure, not just in the dream, but in the process? Can you tend the garden after planting the seed? This solar shift is not about chasing more. It's about rooting where you are. There's no prize for moving faster. The reward is in learning to stay present with the texture of your own life. To slow down enough to actually taste your food. To feel the ground beneath your feet. To let your nervous system catch up with your spirit. This is the energy of sacred slowness, and it's where true embodiment begins. Taurus season is deeply connected to the body and the earth. It invites you to return to what is simple, sensory, and real. What truly nourishes you? What rhythms actually support your energy? What values do you want to build your life around, not just in theory, but in practice? This is a powerful time to reconnect with the tangible. Clean your space. Cook your meals with intention. Walk barefoot on the earth. Light a candle and sit in silence. Let yourself return to the art of being. Taurus reminds us that divinity lives in simplicity. That God is not always in the whirlwind, sometimes He's in the stillness of the field, the softness of a quiet morning, the peace of knowing you're held without needing to strive. You may feel the impulse to slow down, rest more, say less. That isn't laziness, it's wisdom. Your body carries intelligence your mind can't always explain. And when the sun moves into an earth sign like Taurus, your body becomes the sacred temple where clarity arrives, not as an idea, but as a knowing. This is the moment when spiritual truth must become physical truth. Where values are no longer just spoken, they're lived. Where comfort isn't distraction, it's devotion. If you've been burning too hot, pushing too fast, or reaching too far, this is your reminder: come back to center. Come back to breath. Come back to the ground. Let Taurus season catch you. Let it hold you. Let it remind you that the most powerful transformations are not always loud, they're the ones that take root quietly and grow beneath the surface until one day, without warning, they bloom. April 22nd, Mars enters Pisces, when action becomes surrender. There is a subtle but undeniable shift in the atmosphere when Mars, the planet of drive, ambition, and motion, steps into the oceanic waters of Pisces. Where once there was fire, linear, bold, and assertive, now there is mist. A different kind of momentum begins to take over. One that doesn't push, but pulls. One that doesn't sprint, but flows. When Mars is in Pisces, your relationship to action begins to transform. You may notice your usual go-to strategies, planning, forcing, pushing forward, start to feel strangely ineffective or even energetically heavy. It's not that you've lost your drive. It's that the current has changed. The river has turned. And now, action is no longer about conquering, it's about sensing. This transit invites you to stop asking, "What should I do next?" and instead begin asking, "What energy is moving through me now?" Mars in Pisces doesn't reward urgency, it honors receptivity. It guides you not through logic, but through signals from your dream space, your emotions, your spiritual center. And often, those signals won't come with explanations. They come with sensations. A tug in the gut. A wave of melancholy. A creative impulse that arrives unannounced. A moment of sudden stillness that says, pause now. You might feel more tired than usual, especially if you try to force things that aren't flowing naturally. This is not laziness. It's alignment. Mars in Pisces is not about doing more, it's about doing what aligns with your soul's frequency. It teaches you that rest is also a form of sacred action. That slowness can be strength. That following your intuition is not avoidance, it's divine precision. This is also a highly creative transit. But not creativity that can be boxed into deadlines and task lists. Rather, it's the kind that pours through you in images, songs, sensations, dreams. You may wake up with a melody, or feel the sudden need to write, dance, cry, or be near water. All of this is movement. All of this is Mars, translated through the poetic language of Pisces. If deep emotions surface without any logical cause, let them. You are being cleansed, not broken. Mars stirs things to the surface in whichever sign it enters. In Pisces, it brings up unspoken grief, hidden desires, unconscious dreams. And that's a gift. Because only what rises can be healed. Only what moves can be released. The best guidance for this time is simple: move gently. Don't chase clarity. Let your inner compass, your intuition, your feelings, your subtle energy, guide your pace. A quiet walk may bring more answers than a day of strategic planning. A nap may offer more healing than hours of overthinking. Mars in Pisces reminds you, you don't always need to know the next step. You just need to feel the next frequency. Surrender is not weakness. It's wisdom in flow. And if you let yourself trust the water, it will carry you exactly where you're meant to go. April 21st to 22nd, Lyrids Meteor Shower peak, light cuts through the veil. The night sky is about to speak, and it will not be with thunder or prophecy, but with flashes of ancient light slipping through the veil. The Lyrids Meteor Shower, peaking between April 21st and 22nd, is one of the oldest recorded celestial events in human history. But beyond the astronomy, beyond the science, there is something spiritual happening here, something only the soul can understand. To the untrained eye, it may look like nothing more than a scattering of shooting stars. But for those who are tuned in, for those who feel energy rather than simply observe it, this event carries a deeper resonance. Every streak of light is a symbol. Every meteor is a messenger. Every burst is a release. The Lyrids are different from other meteor showers. They don't arrive with fanfare or meteor storm records. But their energy is piercing. Subtle, yet surgical. They come not to dazzle the masses, but to stir something inside the ones who are ready. Their presence slices softly through the night like divine punctuation in the story of your becoming. A celestial whisper that says, something is ready to leave. Are you ready to let go? These meteors, born from the debris of ancient comet Thatcher, move quickly, often unexpectedly. Much like the emotions that surfaced during this portal. You might experience sudden bursts of feeling, a wave of sadness with no clear cause, a forgotten memory bubbling up out of nowhere, a moment of clarity that feels like a revelation without language. These are not random. They are the soul's response to light piercing through layers of subconscious buildup. In spiritual terms, the Lyrids represent light purging density. Fire cutting through fog. What you see in the sky is just the beginning. The real movement is happening within. In the nervous system. In the heart space. In the hidden chambers of the self. What's being illuminated now isn't meant to be analyzed. It's meant to be felt. This is why the days around April 21st and 22nd are best spent in presence, not planning. If you can, go outside at night. Let your body rest under the stars. There is a quality in the air that can't be explained, it must be experienced. Even if you don't see a single meteor, you will still feel the activation. It may come as goosebumps in the stillness, a tingling in your hands, a sudden pressure behind your eyes before tears you didn't expect begin to fall. What rises now is sacred. Let it come. You're not meant to make sense of it all in the moment. This is the kind of energy that works in echoes. You receive the flash today and understand its meaning weeks or months later. Just as the light of a meteor reaches you long after it was born, the revelations of this time may take their own sacred path before they arrive in clarity. One of the most beautiful practices you can do during this portal is journaling, not structured reflection, but sacred witnessing. Keep a notebook nearby or write in your phone. Not full thoughts. Just fragments. Words. Feelings. Images. These are the pieces of soul memory being dislodged and carried away by light. Honor them. You don't need to interpret them yet. Just record what passes through. Let the meteors etch them into your consciousness like ancient signatures from beyond the veil. You might also feel a strange kind of tiredness, almost like your spirit is processing more than your body can track. This is normal. You are shedding. Light is pushing out what darkness tried to keep. Let yourself rest. You're not falling behind. You're making space. And if emotions feel heavier than usual, remember, you are not breaking, you are opening. Sometimes tears are simply light leaving the body in its own sacred language. The Lyrids remind us that not all transformation is thunderous. Some of it happens in silence. Some of it happens in streaks across the sky that last only seconds, but leave an imprint for years. Don't underestimate what can shift during this window. You're not just stargazing. You're soul cleansing. Even if clouds block the view, even if you're in a city where no stars are visible, trust, the veil is still thin. The energy is still here. Sit in stillness. Light a candle. Close your eyes. Let yourself feel the movement. The meteors are messengers. And even if you don't see them with your eyes, you will feel them in your bones. Something ancient is burning off. Something new is readying itself to land. And in this sacred skyfire, your spirit remembers what it's here to release, and what it's finally ready to receive. April 28th to 29th, Dark Moon Days, the Sacred Disappearance. There is a kind of silence that only comes at the end of a cycle. A silence so total it almost hums. It's not the silence of nothingness, but the pregnant pause before rebirth. And this is exactly where we stand on April 28th and 29th, the final days of the lunar cycle, the last breath of the old moon, where all light disappears and nothing reflects. These are the dark moon days. Not just astronomically, but energetically, spiritually, and emotionally. The moon offers no light to the night sky, not because it has abandoned us, but because it has gone inward. And in this quiet vanishing, it calls us to do the same. You may feel spiritually blank, as if the dreams that once stirred you have grown silent. You may feel like you're floating between two lifetimes, one that has clearly ended, and another that hasn't yet begun. There's an odd sense of being emptied out, like you're standing in a hallway with no doors, no windows, no obvious direction. But this is not depression. This is sacred incubation. The world teaches us to always be doing, to always be striving toward clarity, productivity, performance. But the lunar cycle is ancient, older than any calendar or system of control, and it reminds us, real creation begins in the dark. Just as the seed does not bloom in sunlight, it begins in soil, unseen, unfelt, working quietly below the surface, so too do your new beginnings begin here, in this darkness, where nothing is clear, but everything is forming. You may feel a strange discomfort with how quiet it is. Your thoughts might slow to a crawl. Your motivation may vanish. You may sense the end of something long held, but without the fanfare of closure. That's because this ending is not meant to be dramatic. It's meant to be sacred. There is no stage, no spotlight, no applause. Only the holy hush of letting go. Dark moon days are invitations, not to analyze or fix, but to surrender. To let something die gracefully within you without the need to narrate its fall. You don't have to understand what's ending. You only have to allow it. Something old is finishing its cycle. A version of you, a pattern, a chapter, a need, a role, and it's okay if it leaves without a clear explanation. Not everything exits with a story. Some things just dissolve. This period is often misunderstood as stagnation. But in truth, it's rich with alchemical potential. Because in the darkness, your spirit is recalibrating. Your soul is conserving energy. Your higher self is speaking in quiet pulses, not through loud signs but through instinct, silence, and rest. If you feel tired, let yourself be. If you don't feel like reaching out, honor that. If nothing makes sense, stop demanding that it should. This is not a time for manifestation. It's a time for trust. Not blind faith, but deep, cellular knowing that just because you can't see the seed, doesn't mean it isn't growing roots. The most important transformations often happen unseen. The caterpillar does not emerge daily to give updates. It cocoons, disappears, and lets the divine restructuring take over. So let yourself disappear a little. Pull back your energy from the world. Unplug. Sit with a journal, not to plan, but to empty. Light a candle, not to pray for something, but to honor what is quietly leaving. This is sacred space. And the less you fill it, the more potent it becomes. The new moon will arrive soon enough. Light will return. Direction will come. But for now, let yourself honor the blankness. Let yourself be the soil. Let yourself be the pause between the inhale and the exhale. There is wisdom here. There is healing in the hiding. There is growth in the stillness. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are between. And that is holy ground. By now, if you've been walking through these days with an open spirit, you've probably noticed it. April didn't slow down, it shifted focus. The outer heat of Aries became the inner warmth of Taurus. The bursts of forward momentum turned inward, not to stop, but to realign. And if you're truly present, you'll sense that every moment in this second half of the month has a specific frequency. A message. A whisper of deeper meaning. This is not a vague transition. It's a deliberate one. The cosmos hasn't gone quiet, it has become exact. Like a skilled sculptor shaving down excess to reveal what was always hidden within the stone, the energy now is carving away distraction, revealing what is essential. You may feel like less is happening, but in truth, more is being revealed beneath the surface. This phase isn't about growth that can be measured in steps or achievements, it's about spiritual calibration. Your heart, your nervous system, your energy field, they're all being tuned. Not randomly, but intentionally. Not passively, but with quiet precision. This isn't the kind of season where big decisions shout at you. Instead, small truths emerge in stillness. You find yourself walking slower. Speaking less. Needing less validation. And yet, feeling more. Sensing more deeply. Trusting what your body tells you before your mind understands why. Because that's the deeper lesson of this time, to move from outward fire to inner flame. From loud declarations to subtle discernment. From activation to alignment. This is why your usual patterns may no longer work. You might reach for something that once felt right, only to realize it now feels off. You might try to push through an emotion that lingers longer than expected, not because you're stuck, but because you're being rewired. In April's second half, the divine doesn't ask you to charge forward. It invites you to listen, to root, to trust. And that trust starts in your habits. Take more quiet walks, not as a chore, but as a ritual. Let nature speak where words cannot. Let your body lead your thoughts. Speak less, not out of fear, but out of reverence for silence. There are frequencies you can only hear when your own voice softens. And above all, stop chasing constant confirmation. The need to always be sure, to always be right, to always feel safe in knowledge, that's what clouds your discernment. You don't need to be reassured. You need to remember how resonance feels. You already know what's true. The body always knows. The soul always knows. If you're still and honest long enough, you will feel it rise like a quiet yes in your chest. Or a sudden release in your shoulders. Or a shift in your breathing. Not because someone told you it's true, but because you've finally created enough stillness to know it for yourself. So as the final days of April approach, don't look for grand closure. Look for grounding. Let this month finish like a breath exhaled, not with pressure, but with presence. This is not the end of a chapter. It's the settling of the soil. The moment when everything you've witnessed, everything you've felt, everything you've shed, begins to root into who you're becoming. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are inside a sacred recalibration. The world may still expect performance, but the soul is asking for precision. The kind of quiet exactness that redefines everything without making a sound. The sky doesn't shout anymore. It whispers. And if, in the middle of that whisper, something stirred within you, something you couldn't name but couldn't ignore, trust it. That's not just you syncing with the stars. That's the stars syncing with you. There's something beautifully divine about this moment. It doesn't scream for your attention, it waits for your readiness. So if you felt a shift in how you move, how you feel, how you sense time itself passing, know this. You didn't miss the message. You are the message. This season didn't rush you. It revealed you. And now, as we prepare to enter a new lunar cycle in May, let the final days of April be sacred ground. Not for doing. Not for fixing. But for becoming. For allowing. For honoring the version of you that chose stillness over noise. Discernment over distraction. Truth over approval. If something in this message echoed in your body, let it be witnessed. Leave a word or phrase in the comments that captures how this portal feels to you. Just one word. One thread of feeling. Not for likes. Not for visibility. Just a signal, I feel it too. And if you want to stay aligned to these rhythms, if you want to walk these energetic cycles in tune with your soul rather than the clock, subscribe. This isn't just astrology. This is soul timing. And you were never meant to walk it asleep.